I think COVID really changed the way people thought about really delivery of medicine. What happened was the self-testing, which meant that the conventional way of actually going to the doctor's office and have them prescribe laboratory tests and having to go to a laboratory to obtain blood samples to be tested at a laboratory was going to be changing. Another thing that I noticed was it was harder and harder to get appointment dates from general practitioners, and especially with specialists. We needed a better way of actually getting the population to access health care easily so that they can do testing from home and have a better control of their daily health assessment on their own. I think with the access to the internet, people can actually control their own health. The major challenges to establishing NO is to make sure that the traditional way of doing the testing and the new method are compatible. In other words, you don't want to take a traditional testing methods and translate it into something that's junk science. What we really want to do is we would like to have the standard test available, but we want to basically expand on it. We want to be able to identify what's going on in the environment, what's affecting the health of individuals. So the challenge is, how do you retain sensitivity when you are using such a small fraction of samples? That's really is a big challenge. We have a team that is very comprehensive, meaning it covers all of the specialties of laboratory. Meaning we have a scientist that's responsible for the conventional clinical method of testing, as well as somebody who specializes in what we call PCR. That is the amplification of DNA material so that you can detect small amounts of viruses or microbes or cancer cells that we amplify to detect. We also have a mass spec department that actually can detect the conventional hormone testing. You can do it by a mass spectrometry, which requires a very small volume of samples for testing. We can translate all of the current methodologies that we're used to into a small micro samples. We can detect upcoming viruses, mutations. We can detect different types of microorganisms that's constantly mutating. We have partnered with people that are working with things like microarray, which is a different type of platform where you actually can detect the antibodies for patients that might have immunocompromised system, patients that are allergic to certain foods, patients that are sensitive to certain type of food. We can actually do some of these testing on what you call microarray now. Expand it into a test that's affordable, that's easily can be done in a laboratory, adapted in a laboratory, and that can be done on samples that can be sent in on a small sample, on a sputum or finger stick samples that can be milled into a laboratory. We want to make sure they're empowered to keep themselves well, healthy. So what they will do is they might want to track your cholesterol, or they want to find out if they're prone to be a diabetic. Maybe they want to see if their thyroid is too optimal. You want to maintain your health. You want to control your health. I would like NO to be remembered as a company that made healthcare affordable and accessible to everyone. I'm Akemi Iwamoto, Chief Scientist and co-founder of NO.